Welcome to Around Kitsap. We're at the Kitsap County Fairgrounds and our topic today is Washington Explorer Search and Rescue. With me to start our program is Bruce Ramey. Bruce is chairperson of this organization. Welcome, Bruce.
Thank you. It's fun to be here.
Yeah, we're going to have a good time tonight. We're educating everybody on exactly what is Explorer Search and Rescue, what they do in our community, how maybe you can get involved. So Bruce, let's start with, give us the history of Explorer Search and Rescue. Mostly Kitsap County. I understand it is a state organization, but let's talk specifically to Kitsap.
Well, back in 1978, there's some of the members from Olympic Mountain Rescue, and there are other search group in the county. They got together and did a lot of work to help start a new organization, and we were formed at that time, and they were supervising for many, many years. And this allowed us to start getting youngsters involved, and we take people in as young as 14 years old, and some stay with us forever, and some stay until they get out of high school and off to college and disappear on us. But
Wow.
it's really neat to watch some of the youth grow up. We have 15-year-olds that will be running a team out in the woods. They'll be doing their own navigation and being in charge of their group. And when you're missing in Washington State, a good portion of the people that are in the woods are youngsters under 18.
That's really, really interesting. How many folks, how many people are currently involved in our Kitsap chapter of Explorer Search
In our
and
unit,
Rescue?
we have somewhere around 70 members right now, and I believe there's somewhere 15 to 20 canine partners.
So to get involved, you have to be 13 and a half, 14 years old, is that correct,
14
Bruce?
by the October training.
By October training. And the eldest person you have helping in this group is 80,
Yeah, somewhere in there.
close to 80 years old. Wow, that's phenomenal. So tell us about vehicles and folks that are working these vehicles, because this is a volunteer organization. Nobody gets paid. People can put in a chit to get reimbursed for gas money, I understand.
Yes.
But there's not a paid position in this organization. Everyone is a volunteer.
I make the same as I made 20 years ago when I started. So either I didn't perform or there's just no raises involved in this unit.
There's just no raises involved.
Yeah.
But there are some really sophisticated equipment. We're going to look at the truck that's involved, this big truck. How do these pieces of equipment come to the Washington Explorer Search and Rescue Unit?
Well, we are a 501c3, so our donations are tax deductible. We welcome donations. This truck was purchased with grants from both Boeing Employee Credit Union, or Employees Union, and the Birkenfeld Trust. And then it was help with Bruce Titus Ford. He cut us a deal to get us down below the state purchasing price.
Nice.
So we could afford what we did. And it was
That's
ordered brand new. And it's wonderful. It replaces a vehicle that's now parked in my yard, not running. And hopefully we'll get that running. But we depend a lot on donations, especially from the big companies.
Right.
We just got one from Puget Sound Energy to help purchase some more radios. And it's without those donations, we wouldn't have the equipment to do the job, not safely and not efficiently.
Bruce, tell us how a scenario happens. The law enforcement is always the one to make a call that they need you, and then they call you directly. Tell us how your folks are dispatched. Number one, how they're called upon, and then how they're dispatched.
We have approximately 5 operation leaders that are. The phone numbers are given to the Sheriff's Department and DEM and CENTCOM, and they will start at the top and work their way down. One of the deputies will call one of our members, whatever time of day or night, and if they need us in Kitsap County, they let us know what the address is. We get we wake up, we have a paging service where we call in, we leave a message, and then we pick which group of our members we want. We have it divided by canine, we have it divided by ops leaders, we have it divided adult versus youth. There are some times when they don't want youth involved for some reason. And so we'll pick the group that we want, we send out the message, and the members will put in a 1 if they're going to come and a 2 if they can't come, and possibly another number if they might be able to show up later. And so we can look within 5 minutes. We know from 80 members how many are coming. I can call the deputy back and say, hey, we got 15 people coming. And if that's not enough, the first thing he'll do is call state emergency management and ask for outside resources to come also. They don't have to wait until we show up to find that out, which is really nice.
So when your folks are dispatched to a location, let's say Seattle, King County, they're told where to go and who to report to?
If we leave Kitsap County, we usually will meet up and go in as a group.
Nice.
And we'll meet at one of the park and rides, or we'll meet at the mall. And if we're going via ferry or a long distance, we try to get as many people in each vehicle as we can. And that way we have parking at the scene also, because sometimes you get to a place and there's no parking. And especially when they're calling in resources from everywhere. And so we'll try to go as a group if at all possible.
Extremely important work in our community, and you've heard numerous stories of people lost, people missing, someone can't be found. It could be a murder situation. We're not quite sure. These are the folks that are out in our community night, day, weekends, 24 hours, whatever. They are the boots on the ground. And the interesting comment that Bruce said was a lot of times the people that are leading in the woods per se are the younger people. And wow, how phenomenal. Training for this group, if you feel you are interested, training starts in October.
Correct.
First weekend in October. So perfect timing for this piece to be on. If you're interested, they should go to your website and...
It's kitsapisr.com. And the other is they can always call our cell phone, which is 981-2415, area code 360. They will get a recording on that, but they can leave a message.
Excellent.
And we will get a page sent to somebody in our group that can call them back sometime.
Bruce does outstanding work in this community as being the chairperson of this organization. And Bruce, how long have you been with Search and Rescue?
About 21 years.
21 years, and he just can't stop. Thanks for your time, Bruce. We're going to toss it to Constance and see who she's with and what kind of rescue and what kind of search this group has just performed. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Constance and we're back here at Around Kitsap with Washington Explorer Search and Rescue. I'm here with Noah, who's leading this current operation. We are about to head into the woods. Noah, tell me a little bit about what's going on right now.
So the team over here, they've just been given their subject description, their team assignment sheet, and their map. They're figuring out where they are, how they're going to do it. They've been told to do frequent voice text with a type 1 search, so looking for any clues that the person might have left behind. They'll be setting all their equipment up, and then before they leave, they will call into base with their radio for 2 reasons. The first is to make sure the radio is working before they leave, so we have communications. And the second reason is so base knows that they're leaving, so we can always keep track of where our teams are.
Perfect. All right, let's get out there.
I'll just punch straight through. So we should do another voice check right here. my favorite part, one of my favorite parts, getting that call at 2 a.m. in the morning, driving the back, you get that adrenaline rush. You woke up, it's dark, it's cold, nobody else is on the road. Just going in the woods, going places that you otherwise wouldn't ever go.
Sure.
It's awesome.
Is that what got you involved originally?
Actually,
That call of adrenaline?
I started originally just because I needed something to do. I joined when I was 13 and a half.
Uh-huh.
And a friend of my dad's told me about it.
Uh-huh.
It sounded like it'd be a challenge and gave it a go. And it was even better than I thought it would be.
Yeah?
I haven't stopped.
So tell me a little bit about some of the specific education you've gotten since you've joined. I know there were a couple certifications in there.
Yeah, so start out as a ground pounder. For that, you need to know your wilderness navigation, map and compass, which GPSs don't work 100% of the time.
Okay.
So without a GPS, how can you get from point A to point B, cross country, on a trail, on a road, fastest way, most direct way,
Sure.
how to do that, safest way.
We rely so heavily on our electronics nowadays. You guys are trained to handle
Drop
both.
it in the water.
Yeah.
We do use them. I have one with me, but you don't always get to have one. So being able to do that. Then learn how to use GPS. It is much faster, it is more accurate. So it's another good skill to have. And then besides that, one of the next most important skills is first aid. What do you do when you find them? You can't call 911 when you're out in the middle of nowhere. They call 911 and then we come out. So we have to get them somewhere an ambulance could get to.
So you're really the first responder. In that case, it could be anybody
Yeah,
finding
so
your subject.
whether it's a broken lane or a broken spine, you have to take care of it.
Woo. There's a broken one for you right there.
Or one case on a search this past year, Kate found a fingernail that had been ripped off.
Oh, wow.
And we were able to match that it was the same color fingernail paint. And so that was a likely clue. And we found the person that way.
Wow, that's incredible. Something so small could lead
Yeah, I mean,
to
I think
the
it was
discovery.
bright pink, which helped it show up, but still,
Sure.
fingernails aren't that big
Yeah, no kidding.
to find on a gravel trail.
Amber!
Is your name Amber? Yeah. I'm Joe. I'm with Search and Rescue. Can I help you today?
Yeah.
All right. What seems to have happened?
I was walking the trail and fell.
Base 4-1.
Go ahead, 4-1.
The subject has been found and are ready for location. All right. Is anything else hurt? Your other ankle, your other leg?
No, that leg's fine.
It's fine? All right. Do you have any other injuries? Did you hit your head?
No.
No? All right. All right.
4-1 base, go ahead with the transmission.
The coordinates are 10T052481. So what are you doing out here? Hiking?
Yeah, just wandering the trails.
Yeah, it's a nice day for it. I'm gonna ask you one more time. You're probably gonna
Here we are with our subject. We've arrived here and you guys have done your assessment. Explain to me what the next steps are. Now we have our subject, we've made our assessment. What goes on from here?
So they know what's wrong with her, and they'll start treating that with, what's most grievous first. And then while they're doing that, the team leader and navigator off in the back are figuring out where they are and then the best route out. So they'll call in to the field leader. The field leader will decide what is needed. In this case, with a broken leg, they'll need a Stokes to help carry out. She won't be walking out. So they'll call another team to get a Stokes from base, bring it into here, and figure out the best route. Not always the way you came in is the best way to get out.
So Noah, go ahead and explain to me what it is they're doing right now.
So right now, they are going to fold the tarp in a particular way so that when they put it under her and roll her in the opposite direction, they can pull 50% of it back out. That way, we can use the tarp to lift her off the ground and get the Stokes under her. That way, her body barely moves. Like it moves in space, but it doesn't actually bend. That way, we cause the least amount of pain possible and further injury, and then we will carry her out.
How often do you practice things like this, specifically just loading someone into the stokes?
So we do that every month from October to May.
Once a month?
Once a month, yes.
And this is specifically first aid response type care?
So every time we go out in the field, every training but our October training, we do this. It's one of the things that's easiest to screw up, easiest to forget, so we drill it every time. No matter, even if we're training something else, while we're there, we will go over first aid every time.
I hear him doing a good job of talking her through this, trying to minimize that shock factor, I'm imagining.
You guys ready with the stokes?
Very important.
Slide it in from the bottom.
So with this, whenever you're moving the subject in and out of the stokes or anything like that, the first aid person is in charge. So they'll call off up on 3. And we lift equally. You don't want the tail lifting before the head lifts. You want to keep the back straight as possible. Absolutely. Forward on 3, follow me. 1, 2, 3. Okay, come towards me. Okay, so we're going to rotate this direction on 3, facing our head uphill. 1, 2, 3.
Tell me about you, Noah. How long have you been involved in search and rescue?
So this will be my 7th year.
Okay.
I joined us 13 and a half. I'm 20 now. And it's been a blast. So my first training cycle, I made it to ground pounder. Then I got selected to train for team leader in my 2nd year. And I did that in the training cycle. Then in my 3rd training cycle, or 3rd year, I was again selected to be allowed to train for field leader. And I did that. And since then, I've been working with them to train replacements. So people coming up after me.
That's amazing. All right, Noah, it looks like we've arrived back here. Our victim is safe and sound. Tell me how you think it went.
It went fairly well. There's always things you can continue to train on, such as putting them in the stokes. The thing is, every situation is a little different. You can't get access to one side or the other, which makes things difficult. With practice, it's perfect. But they did well. They kept their cool, and
Awesome.
kept doing it.
Thanks so much for being our guide today. We appreciate
Absolutely.
it.
Go ahead.
You have a twig in your hair. Do you want to get rid of that?
Go for it. That'll be in the bloopers reel.
All right, so here we are with our subject. We've arrived here, and you guys have done.
Welcome back to Around Kitsap, and thanks, Constance. That was a great segment on what the search and rescue folks are working on. With me now in this segment is Bob Calkins. Bob has been really instrumental in getting this organized for us today, so we really appreciate that, Bob.
Happy to help. We appreciate your interest.
Bob's the public information officer for this organization, as well as the finance person, so he's got a big foot in this organization. But Bob is a dog person.
I am.
So we want to hear what kind of traits do you look for in a dog to make them a good search and rescue animal?
Well, psychotic's a good start. We like them to be psychotic. We like them to be psychotic for a toy. They have to have, the technical term is ball drive, but if you saw it, you would say psychotic for the toy, whether it's a ball or a squeaky or a tug.
Good.
And that's what makes the dog want to go out and work, sometimes for extended periods. There are some dogs that will work for food. It depends on the personality of the dog, but most dog handlers work with toys.
Who trains the dog, and what kind of training has the person that trains the dog received?
The dogs train us for the most part. Dogs would be extinct. If they couldn't go out in the woods and use their nose to find things, the species would have gone extinct. So we take a huge advantage of that. We have to show the dog what odor we want them to find, either a particular human being, any human being, or human remains. And the only thing we really have to teach them is what we want them to do when they find it. how do they tell us they've located the source of odor that is the missing person? That's really the hard part for the dog. The hard part then for the human, who is the harder half of the team to train, is navigation, being safe in the wilderness, and the much harder part is how not to interfere with the dog while they're working. How to put your human brain in neutral. The dog's nose is a much better tool than the human brain when you're out in the woods, and just trust your dog.
Wow. So how old are the dogs usually when they get started?
You know, they come in, some are 6 months, some start right out of puppyhood, some come a little older because they come as the pets of the handler.
I see.
So usually your first dog is a little older because you got the dog and then you realized you wanted to get involved in search and rescue. So they come 2-3 years old. Your second dog, probably you go to a breeder and get a puppy that is selected for search and rescue, and they can start at 6 months. They'll work till they're 10 or 11 years old, depending on the discipline that they're doing and how difficult that is and their health.
So when a handler has a dog, who helps feed the dog and the vet bills and all that?
They live with us as pets.
They're your pet?
So they live in the home, we take care of the vet bills, we feed them. I have one dog that prefers to sleep in his kennel and one that sleeps on the foot of our bed.
You have 2 dogs personally that are involved in search and rescue?
I have one that's approaching retirement, so I have another one in the pipeline, being ready.
How long have you been involved in this organization, Bob?
About 10 years in this organization, 12 years total in search and rescue.
Awesome organization. We're going to see demonstrations today of 3 disciplines for dogs. The first one's the air scent. Tell us about that.
Go out and find any human in the woods. They don't need a scent article. They're not looking for a specific person. They find any human. Frankly, sometimes getting a scent article can be a little tricky. It's a bit of a challenge. So going out in the woods, if we happen to find the random backpacker that's out there, we treat them as a witness. Hey, Fred's missing. Have you seen Fred?
Oh, good.
So
good.
that still has value when the dog finds that extra person. And then that dog generally works off lead. And what we have to teach them to do is when they find the person, the handler may be out of sight. My dogs wear a bell. And so I'll be listening for them, and then they will come back, get me, they sit in front of me. That's their cue to me that they found them.
They found someone.
And I give them a command, say, show me, and they take me back to the person.
And they take you. Wow. That's awesome. How about trailing?
Trailing is where you give the dog a scent article, and that's very useful in town. Frankly, a lot of our searches now are Alzheimer's patients or some form of dementia. So you're in crowded areas, downtown, residential area, lots of other scents for the dog to smell, so they have to find the specific scent. So we give that dog a scent article. They actually follow the person's trail, and then when they get to the person, we teach them to sit at the person or otherwise indicate on them. The person may be sitting at a park bench with a group of people.
But the difference from the air scent and trailing is the handler's not with the dog in one and with the dog in the other.
Correct. The one dog's on lead. And in air scent. Now for air scent, we're in the woods, we're following the dog, but they may extend out.
Yeah, got it. The last one is human remains cadaver.
Right.
Tell us about that.
And you know that has a little bit of a kind of a morbid aura to it, but sometimes when people pass away, there's no one else around, whether that's of natural causes or something more nefarious. And so we need to be able to bring their family closure by going and finding human remains. So we actually do a fair amount of those kinds of searches, and the dogs are taught to actually locate the source of odor and sit and let us know that they've found it. It's not always obvious that there are remains there just because of decomposition, frankly. So the dogs indicate to us specifically what the source of odor is, and then we can investigate if it's buried, if it's under a bush, if it's not really obvious. Obviously, if you catch it quickly and it's an entire body, then that's pretty easy.
Wow, very, very interesting. Bob, thanks for your time and your help getting this organized. These fabulous volunteers have all turned out to demonstrate what they do in this work that benefits so many of us in our community. Thanks, Bob.
there's two basic types of dogs, air scent and trailing dog. And trailing, they can trail for a specific person as opposed to looking for any human that's out in the woods. So what Heather's got in her hand right now is what we call a scent article. So it's our subject Patty has sort of rubbed this on herself. Usually we would have like a hat or a shirt or a pillowcase or something like that that smells only of that person. And so the dog can take a whiff of that and essentially get started. So yeah.
This is our point last seen. So this is where we're going to be starting him at.
And point last seen is essentially where someone has last seen your subject. So we're pretty sure there's at least scent in this area.
Find Patty. You want to find Patty?
On a real hot day like today too, it's scent essentially comes from the skin that falls off of you and the bacteria that's growing on that skin. And so on a real hot day, it's harder for the bacteria to grow, and so it's harder for the dog to pick up on the scent. So that's why you'll find dogs will stick to areas where there's a lot of vegetation, a little bit more water, or on cooler days, or in the mornings or in the evenings, it's a lot easier for them to trail. See where he's sticking to areas where the scent may have gathered. There's areas that we kind of talk about scent will catch or pool. Some folks work on much shorter leads, and I have seen trailing dogs who actually work without a lead at all. It's useful to have the lead because, particularly with the trailing dogs, you are watching the dog's body language, so you want them fairly close to you. It's pretty subtle sometimes when you're trailing for one specific person. It's pretty subtle sometimes, the differences that they'll make. So in the morning, scent will rise because you've got heat rising, and in the evening, scent will fall. And so what's probably happened here is Batman got kind of roughly in the area, but Patty's scent is all falling downhill. And so it may very well have been kind of swirling down in that direction where Batman was.
Thank you for joining us around Kitsap today. We want to thank the Washington Explorer Search and Rescue, especially Bruce Ramey and Bob Calkins for helping us with this production today, and the numerous, I think I counted 20 volunteers that are here demonstrating what they do for Washington Explorer Search and Rescue. If you're interested in being involved in this organization, go to their website, www.kitsapesar.com, or you can call their cell phone and leave a message at 360-981-2415. Awesome organization. If you're interested, get in touch with these folks. Thanks for joining us around Kitsap. We'll see you next time.